It's 3 a.m. when I first notice it. The way the night feels different. The sky above is pitch black, stretched thin like an old worn blanket, the stars twinkling dimly in the distance. The road stretches out ahead, endless and lonely, a stretch of asphalt that feels like it's going on forever. No cars, no signs of life. Just me, my truck, and the hum of the engine as I push through the thick, quiet silence of the desert night. The dashboard clock reads 3:02 a.m., but I have no real sense of time anymore. It feels like I've been on this road forever, or maybe just a few hours. It's hard to tell when your whole world consists of headlights, the wheel in your hands, and the road that stretches out, vanishing into the dark. The miles blur together. Time loses its grip, and all I'm left with is the monotonous hum of the tires against the pavement. I've been driving for what feels like a lifetime. My eyes are heavy, but I know I can't stop yet. Not until I find a place to refuel, not until I hit the next town or the next exit, whichever comes first. My tank's almost empty, and the last thing I want is to be stuck in the middle of nowhere with no fuel and no way to call for help. The road is eerily quiet, and I can't shake this feeling that I've been here before. I know I haven't. Logically, I know I'm just on another stretch of highway, on my way to deliver another load to some god-forsaken town. But something about tonight feels off. There's an unsettling stillness in the air, the kind of stillness that makes you feel like you're the only person left on Earth, and the world is holding its breath. As I drive, I start to notice the little things, the small details that would normally be drowned out by the hum of the engine or the faint crackle of my CB radio. The lines on the road. They look too straight. I know it's a strange thing to notice, but the white lines that stretch along the edge of the highway seem unnaturally perfect. They're crisp, almost too crisp, with no wear or tear from the tires of countless trucks and cars. The paint is so bright, so white, like it was just painted. It doesn't belong out here in the middle of nowhere, in the harsh desert night. I try to brush it off. It's nothing, just my tired mind playing tricks on me. But as I drive, I notice that the lines are the only thing that seem to be right. The rest of the road, the world around me, is off. The shadows are deeper than they should be, stretching out in strange angles across the pavement. The horizon, once jagged with distant hills, has flattened, becoming an endless stretch of dark nothingness. No stars, no moon, just an oppressive black void that seems to pull everything toward it. I shake my head, rubbing my eyes. The sleep deprivation's starting to catch up with me. I'm sure of it now, I need a break, but there's nothing out here. No exits, no signs of civilization, just me and the road. My thoughts are interrupted by a sudden flicker on the horizon. A distant glow. I squint, trying to make it out, but the light vanishes just as quickly as it appeared. I blink, my eyelids heavy. I could have sworn I saw something, a small flicker of neon. A truck stop? A gas station? But no, that's impossible. I'm miles from any kind of town or rest area. And yet, I feel drawn to it. The light flickers again, and this time, it's closer. A sign? A small patch of civilization in the middle of nowhere? I can't be sure, but it's enough to make me press down on the gas pedal. Maybe this is exactly what I need. Some place to stop, fuel up, and take a breather. I glance at the fuel gauge. The needle's hovering dangerously close to empty, and the last thing I want is to get stuck out here. I need to find that light. Focus on the glow ahead, which now seems brighter, more distinct. There's something about it that feels wrong. It's too soon. I should have reached the next town by now. I glance at the signs by the side of the road. There's nothing, just empty stretches of land, endless and barren. The road seems to stretch on forever, like it has no beginning or end. I press down, harder on the gas, desperate to reach the light, hoping it's a truck stop, a place where I can finally rest, refuel, maybe grab a cup of coffee. But as I drive, the light doesn't seem to get any closer. It flickers and shifts like it's taunting me. No matter how far I drive, no matter how many miles I cover, the distance between me and the light doesn't shrink. It's always just out of reach. Panic begins to creep in. Am I stuck in some kind of loop? I'm starting to feel dizzy, the exhaustion getting to me. I fight the urge to close my eyes. My vision blurs, and I feel like I'm not really here, like I'm trapped in some sort of waking dream. The light flickers again, but this time it's different. It's no longer a small flicker in the distance, it's closer, too close. I slam on the brakes. The tires screech against the road as the truck skids to a stop, and for the first time in hours, I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Ahead of me, the light reveals itself. A truck stop, or what looks like a truck stop. The sign above the pumps is barely visible in the dim glow, but I can make out the neon letters flickering faintly. Fuel stop. I squint at the place, feeling an odd mix of relief and unease wash over me. Finally. Something. But as I pull closer to the pumps, I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. The truck stop doesn't look right. There's something off about it. It's too quiet, too empty. I don't see any other trucks parked at the pumps, no lights on in the diner or the convenience store, just the faint buzz of the overhead lights that flicker like they've been on too long. And still, the place feels like a scene, out of a dream or maybe a nightmare, but I don't have much of a choice. I need fuel. I pull up to one of the pumps and kill the engine. The sudden silence is deafening. I step out of the truck. The air is colder than I expected. A strange chill. For a summer night. The wind doesn't move. It's stagnant, like the world is holding its breath. The soft hum of the lights overhead is the only sound. I walk toward the door of the truck stop, my boots clicking on the pavement, and for a moment, I stop. There's no sound, no cars, no animals, not even the wind. Just the distant buzz of the lights. I glance over my shoulder at the truck, feeling the weight of something watching me, but there's no one there. It's just me. I press the door open, and a bell above rings, but there's no one inside to greet me. No one. I freeze, in the doorway, feeling the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I step inside, the door swinging shut behind me with a soft thud that seems louder than it should be. The air inside is thick with a stale, musty odor, like something hasn't been cleaned or aired out in years. The fluorescent lights above flicker, intermittently, casting long stretching shadows along the cracked linoleum floor. It's a small dimly lit truck stop, with faded signs offering fuel and snacks, hanging crookedly above the old wooden counters. A small diner is tucked. Off to the side, its booths empty and forlorn. The atmosphere feels wrong, too still, too quiet. I hesitate for a moment, unsure of what to do. The place doesn't look like it's seen a customer in ages. I could turn around, leave, and forget I ever saw it. But my gas gauge is perilously low, and I've been on this endless stretch of road for far too long. Besides, where else am I going to go? It's a truck stop. It's supposed to be just a place to fuel up, maybe grab a coffee and get back on the road. I walk up to the counter, my boots tapping lightly on the floor. The bell above the door rings again, echoing in the empty room. I glance around, but there's no sign of the attendant, no one at all. Just the dusty counters and scattered items. That's when I see him, another me. I freeze. He's sitting in one of the worn-out booths near the back, facing the window, a coffee cup in front of him. At first I think it's just some tired, disheveled trucker, another weary soul who's been on the road too long, maybe someone who also needs a break. But something about the man makes me pause. He's dressed just like me, same worn jeans, same trucker jacket. He looks like he could be my twin, a mirror image of myself. I take a few steps closer, squinting at him, my mind racing. Is that me? The man doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't move. His head is slightly bowed and he's staring blankly out the window, as if lost in thought. I feel a chill crawl down my spine and a strange sensation washes over me. I can't explain it, but it's as though I'm staring into a mirror, and it's not just the way he looks, it's the way he feels. Like somehow I'm staring at the version of me that should have been, but never was. The longer I look, the more unsettling it becomes. His hands resting on the table are exactly like mine. The way his fingers twitch nervously, the slight tension in his posture, the almost imperceptible sigh he lets out. It's me, but it isn't me. I take a cautious step forward, my heart beating faster now. I've got to know what's going on. Why is there someone who looks exactly like me in This desolate, forgotten truck stop. "Hey," I call out, my voice startling me with its echo. "You okay?" The man doesn't react. I clear my throat and step closer, my boots tapping louder now, the sound of my footsteps filling the otherwise dead silence of the truck stop. The man continues to sit there, unmoving. I stop beside his booth, leaning over the back of the seat. "Hello?" I ask again, my voice wavering with uncertainty. "You need help or something?" Finally, he looks up. His eyes lock with mine, and I'm struck by the depth of something in his gaze. It's like I'm staring into a mirror, but the reflection isn't quite right. His eyes are a little too wide, his stare a little too intense. But it's not just that. It's the way he looks at me, like he's seeing something I can't. For a long moment, we just stare at each other. Neither of us moves. The air between us feels thick, charged with an electricity that makes my skin prickle. And then, he speaks. "You've been here before," he says, his voice low and rough, like it's been dragged through sandpaper. It sends a shiver up my spine. I blink, confused. "What? What do you mean? I've never been here before. This is the first time I've—" "You've been here," he interrupts, his voice harder now, almost desperate. "You just don't remember." My heart skips a beat. "What the hell are you talking about?" But the man just shakes his head, his lips curling into a sad, knowing smile. He looks down at his coffee, swirling it absent-mindedly. And I feel my stomach tighten. I want to walk away. I want to turn around and get the hell out of here. But my legs feel frozen in place. "You'll remember," he says quietly, his eyes flickering back to mine. "You'll remember everything soon enough. You have to. It's the only way." I open my mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. What's happening here? Why is he talking like this? What does he mean by "I'll remember"? I don't even know this guy. Hell, I've never even seen a place like this before, let alone met anyone who looks like me. Before I can say anything else, he stands up suddenly, as if my confusion is nothing more than a fleeting annoyance. He walks past me without a word and heads for the door. I'm left standing there, my mind racing, my pulse quickening. I watch him leave, and when the door swings shut behind him, I'm left with nothing but silence. A heavy, oppressive silence that seems to fill the entire room. I try to shake the feeling that settled over me, but it lingers like a cloud. Something is wrong here. Deeply wrong. I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to feel like I'm not just stuck in some random truck stop. It feels like I'm in a place I'm not supposed to be, a place that doesn't belong in the world I know. I glance over at the coffee cup that the man had been drinking from. It's still there, on the table, the same as it was when he sat down. But something's different. The cup's been refilled. It wasn't full when he left. I distinctly remember it being half empty when he got up. Now it's completely full, the coffee steaming slightly as if it's fresh. I swallow hard, staring at the cup. The strange feeling intensifies. Something's not right. Something isn't right. I look around, but the truck stop is empty once more. The same dull hum of the lights fills the room, and I take a cautious step back toward the counter. I need to pay for my fuel and get out of here. I need to leave. I don't care if the gas tank is full. I'm done. But as I move, I feel the weight of someone watching me. I turn quickly, my breath catching in my chest. Standing at the far end of the diner is another version of me. Another me. The second version of me stares back, his eyes wide and unblinking. He's wearing the same clothes, the same tired expression, but there's something in his gaze, something unsettling. He doesn't speak. He doesn't move. But I can feel it. I'm not alone here, and I have a sinking feeling that I'm never going to leave. I stumble back, the shock of seeing another version of myself paralyzing me for a moment. The diner around me seems to blur, the walls closing in, the lights flickering once again, as if they're about to burn out. The weight of the air feels thicker, suffocating. I swallow hard, trying to steady my breath, but the panic rising in my chest is undeniable. The man standing at the far end of the diner, the second version of me, doesn't move. His eyes are wide, staring at me with a look of recognition. No, it's more than that. It's like he knows me, better than I know myself. He's not just looking at me, he's looking through me. His gaze seems to cut through me, dissecting my every thought and movement. I try to speak, but my throat tightens and no words come out. I'm frozen to the spot, the cold sweat now dripping down my spine. My eyes flicker toward the door, but the truck stop suddenly feels like a maze. There's no clear way out, no escape from this place. It's like the walls have been closing in on me ever since I stepped inside. I glance back at the booth where the first me sat, the man who'd told me that I'd been here before, that I would remember soon. But he's gone. The booth is empty, the coffee cup still sitting there, now cold and untouched, the steam long gone. I don't know how long it's been since I last looked, but time seems irrelevant now. My watch tells me that only a few minutes have passed since I entered, yet everything around me feels like it's been hours, maybe even days. The second version of me remains motionless, standing there in the dim light, his figure partially obscured by the shadows. He's wearing the same clothes, the same faded jeans and trucker jacket. His expression is a mirror image of mine, but something in his eyes, something sharp and cold, makes me shudder. I take a step toward him, my heart hammering in my chest. Every instinct tells me to run, but my legs won't cooperate. It's like I'm stuck in some kind of loop. "Who are you?" I manage to rasp, my voice barely above a whisper. It feels strange even asking. The answer seems obvious, but the fear gnawing at me makes the question tumble out before I can stop it. The man's lips curl into a faint, sad smile, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. He tilts his head slightly as if considering me, then opens his mouth to speak. "You know who I am," he says softly, his voice almost a whisper, but his words cutting through the silence like a knife. I freeze again, my stomach flipping. The way he says it, it's as if he's been waiting for me to realize something that I don't understand, something I'm not supposed to understand. "Are you me?" I ask, my voice trembling. My heart races in my chest, my pulse pounding in my ears. He nods slowly, a dark gleam in his eyes. "You're me too," he says, stepping closer. The movement feels slow, deliberate, like he's making sure I notice every step. He stops just a few feet from me, close enough that I can see the tiny cracks in his weathered jacket, the stains, on his boots, the same scuffs that I've noticed on my own shoes. This isn't a coincidence, I can feel it. This man, this version of me, isn't some random stranger. He's me. He's part of me. And something deep inside tells me that I shouldn't have come here. "I don't understand," I say, taking a shaky step back. My breath catches, but I can't stop myself from speaking. "What are you trying to tell me?" The man's smile fades, replaced by a look of quiet understanding, like he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. His eyes darken with a mixture of pity and something else, something that feels almost like warning. "You're trapped," he says, his voice low and heavy with finality. "We're both trapped. You don't remember it, but you've been here before. You've always been here, and you'll never leave." I feel my knees weaken, the weight of his words sinking into my chest like a heavy stone. I stagger back, my mind racing. "Trapped? What are you talking about?" He steps even closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "The road leads to here, always. No matter where you go, no matter how far you drive, you always end up here. And there's no way out." My thoughts spin in circles trying to make sense of what he's saying. This can't be happening. This is some kind of joke, right? Some kind of prank? But the more I think about it, the more his words start to make sense. The road, the endless stretches of asphalt, the strange feeling of déjà vu. I've been here before, haven't I? And not just tonight. Something in my gut tells me I've made this drive before. I've been down this road to this exact truck stop, and I've never been able to leave. The lights above flicker once again, casting strange, erratic shadows across the room. The buzzing sound is louder now, almost deafening, and I feel like I'm being consumed by it, pulled deeper into something I can't escape. Suddenly, a loud bang echoes from the back of the diner, and I jump, spinning around to see a figure emerging from the shadows near the kitchen. My breath catches in my throat as the figure steps into the light. It's another version of me. This new version is wearing a different set of clothes, darker, newer clothes, and his face is more weathered, Older, like time has aged him in ways that don't make sense. But he's wearing the same expression, the same confused, lost look that I had when I first walked in. He's walking toward me now, eyes wide, clearly unsettled. As he draws closer, he looks at me with a mixture of recognition and fear. "Who are you?" he asks, his voice shaking. I stare at him, my mind reeling. What's going on? There are more, countless now, more versions of me. Before I can respond, the door to the diner swings open and I feel a rush of cold air as another version of myself steps in. This one looks younger, fresh-faced, eager, as if he hasn't been on the road for long, but when his eyes meet mine, I see the same confusion, the same recognition. All of us stand there in a strange, silent standoff, staring at each other. This can't be real. I shake my head, trying to make sense of it, trying to understand how I ended up here, how there are multiple versions of me, each one looking just a little different, a little wrong. The longer I stand here, the more I feel the world shifting beneath me, like the very foundation of reality is cracking open, revealing something far darker. The man, the first one who had spoken to me, leans in, his voice low. "You've been here too long," he says softly. "This is the cycle. You can't break it. You'll never break it." The words hang in the air like an insidious whisper, and I realize that this is no longer just about me. This place, this truck stop, it's a prison, a trap for those who wander too far, drive too long, lose themselves in the endless roads of the world. And I'm stuck here, trapped in a mirror, forever caught in a cycle I can't escape. Just one more version of the same face, one more reflection, staring back at me, and it's getting harder to tell which one of us is real. The walls of the diner begin to close in on me. The dim light overhead flickers more violently now, casting long, jagged shadows that seem to creep across the walls and floor as if they're alive. The hum of the fluorescent lights is deafening, and my heartbeat is pounding so loudly in my chest that it drowns out everything else. I can't shake the feeling that I'm trapped in some kind of loop. Each version of me stands there, staring, motionless. The room seems to stretch farther than it should, the tables and chairs warping as I look around. The colors of the walls, once a faded yellow and white, now seem off, tinged with a sickly green. Everything in the room feels wrong, like a dream, where the details are slightly distorted, too hard to focus on, but they unsettle you all the same. I'm not alone in this space, not really. I'm surrounded by versions of myself, each one frozen in place, each one a mirror of my own existence, but none of them are exactly the same. The man in the booth, the one who first spoke to me, is still watching me with that sad, knowing smile. The younger version, the one who just stepped in, is staring at me with wide, fearful eyes, his face frozen in confusion. I can't tear my eyes away from them. Is this who I am? Am I just a product of some twisted reflection, trapped in a room with endless versions of myself? But the questions keep piling up and I don't have answers. What's worse is the growing realization I'm starting to forget which version of me is real. The younger version of me, still standing near the door, takes a hesitant step forward, his eyes darting between the others. "What's going on?" he asks, his voice barely a whisper. It's the same voice I heard earlier, the one full of fear and uncertainty. "Who are all of you? What's happening to me?" The older version of me, the one who had warned me that we were all trapped here, lets out a low, hollow laugh. His eyes glint with something dark, something almost cruel. "Don't you get it yet?" he asks, his voice thick with mockery. "You're all just pieces of me. Nothing more, nothing less." I try to move, try to scream, but the words die in my throat. The room begins to spin, the air thickening with a strange pressure that pulls at my chest, like the weight of the world is pressing down on me. I'm losing myself, losing my grip on reality. The diner, the truck stop, everything around me begins to feel like it's shifting, bending. The walls stretch, the floors undulate beneath my feet. I look at the older version of myself and see a flicker, a brief flash of something different in his eyes, something empty, a hollow emptiness that reflects something I don't want to see. "This isn't real," I murmur under my breath. The words sound foreign, as if I'm speaking them for the first time, like I'm remembering something I should have already known. The older version of me chuckles softly. Of course it's not real. This place is just another reflection, a distorted version of the world you thought you knew. A reflection, I repeat, my voice barely audible. What do you mean? What is this place? The younger version of me stares at the older one, his eyes wide, the confusion written all over his face. What the hell is going on? Am I stuck here too? The older version of me doesn't respond immediately. Instead, he looks past the younger me, his gaze flicking to the mirrors on the wall. I hadn't noticed them before. I don't know how I didn't. The mirrors line the back wall of the diner, reflecting the empty booths and tables. But something's different about them now. The reflections, they're warped. The edges of the mirrors bend, ripple, like the glass is liquid. As I stare, the reflections in the mirrors don't seem quite right. Everything about them is off. My reflection, my face, shifts in ways it shouldn't. I see my eyes move in ways they shouldn't. The man in the booth flickers in and out of existence, his form fading in and out like he's struggling to hold on to something real. Look at the mirrors, the older version of me says softly, almost serenely, as if he's guiding me through a painful truth. They're not just reflections, they're doors, windows, paths. I glance nervously at the mirrors, my stomach turning. What does he mean by paths? And why do I feel like I've been staring into the same mirrors forever? Like they've been reflecting different versions of me, versions that I'm not supposed to recognize, versions I'm supposed to forget. The younger version of me looks up at the mirrors too, his face wrinkling in confusion. What do you mean, paths? What is this? Why does it feel like I've been here forever? Because you have, the older version of me says again, his voice low, almost tender. We all have. This is the loop, the cycle that keeps repeating itself. We're all trapped in it, looking for an escape that doesn't exist. The mirrors seem to pull me in. I feel my legs moving of their own accord, as if something inside me is driving me toward them, toward the distorted reflections. I need to leave, I say suddenly, panic rising in my throat. I need to get out of here. But the older version of me just smiles, a slow, sad smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. You're already gone, he says, his voice like gravel. You've always been gone. This place doesn't let anyone leave, not for good. I reach for the door, desperate to leave, but my hand stops just short of the handle. The reflection in the door's glass, my reflection, stares back at me, but this time I don't recognize the face. The reflection grins at me, an expression I would never wear, its eyes gleaming with something darker. The face in the glass tilts its head, as if it's waiting for me to realize something. My heart lurches in my chest. The reflection is mocking me. You're not in control, the older version of me murmurs. His voice seems distant, as though he's fading into the background of this nightmare. None of us are. I feel the floor beneath me tremble. The mirrors on the walls seem to ripple again, distorting the reflections further, warping them into grotesque, blurry shapes. It's as if reality itself is unraveling, piece by piece, slipping through my fingers like sand. The longer I stare into the mirrors, the more I feel like I'm dissolving into them, becoming part of the warped reflections, losing my grip on what's real. The younger version of me steps closer to one of the mirrors, his hand trembling as he reaches toward it. I don't want this, he says quietly, his voice breaking. I want to go home. But there's no home to go to. I want to scream, but my throat is tight, choked by an invisible hand. My breath becomes shallow, panic rising in my chest. I look from one version of myself to another, and the disorienting pull of the mirrors grows stronger. I try to tear my gaze away, but I can't. I feel myself being dragged into the glass, sucked into the distorted reflections, the world around me warping and twisting. You can't leave, the older version of me says again, his words a soft, mocking whisper. We're all trapped in the same loop, and the only way out is to forget what you are. I close my eyes, my body trembling with terror. The truth is starting to hit me. This isn't just a truck stop. This isn't just some weird dream. I'm stuck here, and I've been here before. Over and over. When I open my eyes again, I realize something horrifying. The mirrors are gone. The diner has changed. Everything is wrong. The chairs are now empty, the table's broken, and the once clean floor is cracked, covered in dust and grime. But in the distance I hear the sound of an engine roaring, loud, unmistakable. A truck, but it's not just any truck. It's mine. The roar of the engine is deafening and I can't breathe, because I know now, I know what I've been avoiding all along. The truck, the road, the mirrors, they're all part of the same thing. And I'm not going anywhere. The road is my prison, and I've been driving it for far too long. I blink, trying to shake the haze in my mind. The sounds of the truck's engine grow louder. It's not the sound of my truck anymore. No, it's a different one. I can hear it clearly now, roaring, thundering in my ears. The faint thrum of tires on asphalt reverberates beneath me, making my skin crawl. The diner around me, the mirrors, the faces, the warped reality is gone. All that remains is the endless stretch of highway. I'm standing at the edge of the road now. The sun is just beginning to dip below the horizon, casting a dim, golden light across the cracked pavement. The world is silent except for the distant hum of my engine. No voices, no eerie diner, no other versions of myself. Just the open road and the eerie hum of something familiar but deeply unsettling. I take a step forward, my legs unsteady. It feels like I've just woken up from a long, terrifying dream, but the disorientation isn't fading. It should be fading, but it isn't. The weight in my chest hasn't lifted. It's growing heavier, pulling me down. The truck in front of me seems almost too familiar, and I can't place why it feels wrong. So it should feel like my salvation, the end of the nightmare, but instead it feels like a trap. I glance back over my shoulder. The road behind me is nothing but endless black. The lights of the truck stop, long gone. The diner, long forgotten. I don't know how far I've driven, how long I've been on this road. The shadows around me stretch out in unnatural ways, and the road in front of me seems to loop around in endless circles. No matter how far I walk, I'm not getting any closer to the end. And then I hear it again. The engine's roar, growing. Louder, closer. I whip around and there it is, my truck. The exact same one I've been driving all this time, the exact same make and model. But it's wrong. There's something off about it now. It's as if it's been waiting for me. A part of me wants to run, to turn back, but my legs refuse to move. I step forward instinctively, reaching out for the door handle of my truck. The truck feels cold under my touch, its metal slick with the chill of the night air. I pull open the door. But as I do, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I'm suddenly aware of a pair of eyes staring at me from inside the truck. Not just any eyes. Mine. I freeze, my hand hovering above the door handle. The reflection staring back at me from inside the truck is me. But it's not just me. There's a cruel, twisted version of me lurking in those eyes, something I've never seen before. That same mocking, hollow emptiness I saw in the diner. The reflection of myself leans forward, his grin wide, his eyes gleaming with something sinister. "You didn't think you could escape, did you?" the version of me inside the truck says, his voice cold, distant. It's the same voice, but laced with something that makes it sound like a warning. "You've been driving for so long trying to outrun yourself, but there's no escape, there never was." My heart pounds in my chest. This is it, isn't it? The end of the road. I've been running all this time and now I realize there's nowhere to go. The road never ends and neither do I. I'm stuck. I glance back at the horizon. The road stretches out endlessly in front of me, just like it always has. No beginning, no end. The nightmare is repeating itself over and over again, until there's nothing left of me but this truck and the road that goes on forever. I turn back to the truck, but the reflection inside is gone. In its place, the seat is empty, waiting for me. My hands tremble, and I hesitate for a moment, standing there in the twilight. But I know what I have to do. I climb into the truck. The engine rumbles to life with a violent growl as soon as I slide into the driver's seat. My hands grip the wheel. But even as I do, the sensation is wrong. The wheel feels familiar, but my fingers don't seem to fit the way they used to. I glance at the mirrors, at the gauges. Everything's warped. The dashboard is cracked, the air inside the cabin stale. The road stretches on, but it's getting harder to focus. The horizon is slipping away, and my eyes are growing heavy. "You're not getting out," the voice whispers again. The voice. From the reflection. It's coming from the speakers now, and I can hear it rattling through my skull, echoing through the empty cabin. "This road is yours now." I slam my foot down on the accelerator, my vision blurring, my mind screaming for a way out. But there's nothing ahead of me but darkness. The truck lurches forward, and I force my eyes open, but the road is gone. The truck's lights are flickering, and I can feel the air growing thick. I glance into the rearview mirror. My reflection is there again, but it's not mine. The eyes staring back at me are dark, vacant. The road begins to twist, folding in on itself like an endless loop. The lines on the pavement warp and stretch, curling into infinity. I try to pull over, but the truck won't stop. The brakes don't work. The steering wheel feels like it's pulling me towards something I can't escape. The rumble of the engine fades to nothing. And then there is silence. I don't know how much time passes. I don't know where I am. The truck is still there, idling in place, but the world outside has changed. There's no road anymore, no sky, just an endless abyss stretching out in front of me. But the worst part, I'm still driving, and it feels like I always will be.